Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Radio Melee. We got Moky back on the program. And I feel like it's been a minute since I've seen you, Moky. We were talking about this before we went live, but I always like to tell the story. I don't know if I told this story on Radio Melee or anything like that before, but dude, I don't know if you remember, but we had a tradition where every time I'd come to Canada from like 2013 to like 2015 or 16, every single year we'd money match for $5.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who you were at the time because you were kind of on the come up, and I was like,
yeah, I was always just like a 17-year-old kid or something. Like
exactly. And it was so funny because you'd always beat me, but it was always like game 5 and be close and shit. I'd be like, oh fuck, that guy got me again. And I'd be like, next time I come to Canada, I'm gonna get that guy. I'm gonna get that Moky guy, whoever the fuck he is. I'm gonna get him next year. And then you beat me again and be close as fuck. And then I don't think I ever closed it out. I think I gave you like probably $20 over the course of like 4 years.
I feel like you probably won like the first one. I feel maybe I don't know.
Maybe. I recall you getting just getting better and better, and then I don't know. I mean, it's been really cool. Obviously, we had you on whatchamacallit, the Reeds like a year or two ago, or I mean not even a year or two ago, that was before COVID, so it was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been cool to do stuff with you. And it's cool to have you on Radio Melee. So first and foremost, congratulations. Me and PP want to congratulate you on your tournament win this weekend over APSA.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely stoked about it. I don't know. I feel like that's it's like the biggest thing I've won probably. So I'm like, I don't even know how I won after like getting knocked into losers too. I feel like there was a lot of really like just a lot of spots I probably should have just lost in, but I don't know. I just somehow didn't. So I don't know. I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, it was you had to because you lost somewhat early in winners. I mean, not early, but like,
Yeah.
You had to you were at the spot where like if you want to win the tournament, you basically have to beat like everybody instead of only beating like half the people.
Yeah.
Which is like the benefit of staying in winners. And you beat who was it? It was, I know you fought Aklo.
Yeah, it was Zuppy, Hacks, Aklo, and then I made it to Grands, and then it was so yeah.
Wow.
Jeez Louise.
I mean, that's a good resume. And what do you think? I mean, you said you were kind of surprised by it, but surely you've just been rising as a player, pretty much this whole time. And what do you think really contributed to going all the way this weekend? Was there some factor? Was it some amount of like practice? Do you think your skill just changed a little bit more? Did everything kind of come together? What do you think it was?
I do think that overall it's pretty good matchups for me as a whole. Like I've played Yoshi a lot, so like when I made it to Grands, I'm pretty comfortable as a whole because I feel like I'm good in that matchup. I've played a bunch of Foxes as well too, so it wasn't like a lot of matchup changing. It was just matchups that I'm pretty like comfortable with typically. But I think honestly, losing helps. I feel like in winners because I was feeling kind of nervous. I think when I played Aklo at first, kind of like I was playing to not lose as opposed to playing to win. And then I lost and I was so mad. I was in the corner just fuming. But I think like the way I see it is like when I am like that and I'm kind of concerned about losing because I'm like, oh, people are going to think I'm bad or whatever. Once I lose, I'm like, that's the worst thing that could happen. I'm like, I already lost once and like people know I'm like bad. So whatever, I'm just going to play. And then I end up playing good. I think that's why I make a lot of like losers runs and stuff too. I think like it just takes a lot off of my shoulders and I just don't focus on anything else. But like I am mad. I just want to beat these people because I know I can, so.
I've definitely had this, like, even not obviously I'm not playing at like your level, but like I definitely think there's something to be said for like getting the jitters out, like when I used to enter a lot of tournaments, I would frequently like find myself just kind of a little bit focused better sometimes. Like you're kind of like takes the edge off and you're like, well, anything from here is like icing on the cake. I don't know if that's like the right way to look at it. Like obviously it's probably better if you can stay in winners. Maybe PP would know best, probably. Yeah. Like I'm sure you've thought about this sort of thing a lot, but I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
I think whatever gets you there, right? And if that works, if that's what gets you to play well, right? I mean, it's not well. I guess it's a bit challenging, right? Because you have to play more sets then. And so I think I think for some people listening to this, they might go, "Oh, well, I just need to be mad, or I just need to lose first to play well." And Moky, can you counterbalance that? For example, do you think it's always good to play when you're mad? For example,
no, because there's times where you can play where you're mad and you being mad clouds your mind, and you're just like, oh well, that was stupid. Oh, that was bullshit. Okay, I got down smashed again, and you're just like, it kind of just clouds your mind. You can't focus on anything else. Like, I think, yeah, I don't know. There's like different kinds of mads, I guess, and I feel like a lot of the time, because people always like say like, oh, my mental is bad and I'm like mad at something, but I think at least for me, when I get mad, it kind of helps because I let that, like, I don't get mad until after the fact. And if I go into a set mad, I'm just like so mad, but I'm just like focused. Like, I'm not thinking anything. I don't know. I don't even know how it works. I feel like it's just like maybe I'm just lucky, but I don't know. That's how I feel about it. And then yeah, sometimes you don't want to lose either, because what if you lose and you just get like a Marth and you get chain grabbed or something? It's like, well, that sucks. Like even if I was playing good, like maybe sometimes you just drop down, you get like a bad matchup, or it's just yeah. So
well, I gotta say, I mean, I know you've had your run-ins with people's perspectives and rankings and things like that before, and you've talked about that a good bit, and I know that's reflected in what you're saying here. But I think this win, is a general trajectory for you. I don't think this was an accident, like I said before. You've been going upward and upward and upward, and I'm really curious, where, like, what this win means to you, but also what your goals are. Where do you want to be? Do you want number one? Do you want to be ranked somewhere? Like, what does Moky want out of Melee?
yeah, so going into this year, I actually didn't even know, honestly, because when I first got into Melee, my goal was like, I did want to be number one. And then it's like, okay, I've been streaming a lot and I enjoy streaming. I want to take content stuff further. And I've been enjoying Mario 64. I just did like 3 hours before this. I just did runs for like, yeah, they didn't go well, but
oh dear,
they were still a fun time.
Next time.
Yeah. And so yeah, I like I'm trying to not really care about rankings, because I do think it's not a positive thing for a competitor to care about, really, because if you like the way I see it is like, if I start the year off and I have a really bad tournament, if I care about rankings, that tournament's following me the whole year, because it's like it's how rankings are, right? Because it's going to be the entire year. So if I have I get like 49th or something, it's like I'm fighting against that the whole year, and I don't think I should be thinking that. If I have a bad tournament, all I should be thinking is, okay, well, next one's going to be good, and I'm just going to make sure it's good, right? But that said, this win, I think, because I really want to win a major. That's like my biggest goal right now, is I just want to win something, because I knew I could, and then after this weekend, I think it like solidified in my mind, like, oh, I'm actually like so close. Like, I know I could do it at like a major thing too. And I also realized I feel like this year I've been doing pretty good, and I might actually be close to, like, if I pick it up, I could get like ranked super, super high. So
that's exciting.
So yeah, so I don't really have like a particular goal in mind, but I just want to try to do well, and then if I do get like rewarded in that way, then it's good, I guess. I don't know. That's how I'm trying to see it, I guess.
I love that. I think it's like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I really like that it's that sounds like, they talk about like people, they talk about like intrinsic and extrinsic.
Right.
And I feel like that's a very intrinsic kind of way to think about it. It's like, I just want to play good.
Well,
it's like,
I'm a big intrinsic fan.
Yeah. Like the results will follow. Like if you're sitting here, it's really easy to get in your own head.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us can relate to that. So that's
really
sick here.
Yeah, because I know before Genesis, I was tweeting all this like super cringe motivational type stuff, I guess. It was like,
okay,
but I said something about how like I'm trying to see winning less of like the goal and more of like the reward.
Yeah.
And I think that's like the healthy way to see it. And it's very easy to get it clouded and to see it like, no, like winning's the goal. I need to win this. But the goal should be to get better, and then winning is what you're like rewarded with. And I think if your goal isn't necessarily just to win, then you're going to be a lot more like just mentally sound, I think, when you're competing, because you won't just be like thinking like, oh man, I need to win this. I need to win this. You're going to get in your head a lot more, like, I don't know. So
yeah. I agree. I mean, think about the opposite of that, right? If I need to win, then what happens if I lose? And that is terrible. Oh my gosh, worst thing to ever happen to me, and it's
Yeah.
so bad, right? And so
Yeah.
then you're worried about that, and then you're not practicing well because you're just like, well, okay, well, I just lost, and then whatever, and that, and like it's Moky said, it follows you around. But if you're focusing on your process, you're focusing on having a good time, then winning is more likely to happen. If you stop fearing losing, losing is less likely to happen. The way I think about
Yeah.
it, like a losing paradox almost. So I think Moki's absolutely right. And I don't think what you talked about is cringe either. In fact, I think it's really healthy and very important. And the more people are talking about it, the better the game is. So I'm happy you did that.
Yeah. No, I think, I don't know. I think it's hard in Melee sometimes too, because it is like such a small, tight knit, like grassroots thing. So the players do kind of have to make content and do that kind of stuff too. And a lot of the content revolves around rankings. But that's one of the things I really wish wasn't the case, because I think it would be so much healthier as a competitor to just like not even be involved at all with that kind of thing, But it's like a balance. So.
And I actually love that, you already brought up Mario 64, and I mean, you're someone that's been focusing more on content for a number of years now. I think that's really healthy for you and for the scene. If Melee players and everyone are willing to watch Moky or whoever do other games or do other types of content, and I think you sell that really well. I think you have one of the more successful streams in the scene, and you're really entertaining, really funny. So I think that works really well for you. I think if you're willing to do more of that, then I think that expands opportunities for everyone. Just like when you tweet about your process, that helps everyone. So I think that's a good thing, and I hope people will check out what you're doing there, and they don't leave when they see the category change, because that helps everyone.
Yeah, I think Mario 64 is a good one too, because there's so much crossover.
Yeah,
because so many. It's just an old boomer game, just like Melee. It's like I don't know. A lot of people who play one at least watch the other, so it's just like people kind of know what's going on. It's also I like it because it's more of a competition against yourself. Like I'm not gonna like lose and just get like berated by some random dude. Like if I lose, I'm like, okay, I'm the one who is who is upset here. I'm the one who is like just mad at myself. So yeah.
Yeah, I always really liked. I'm sure there's other genres of games too, but I always like. That's why I was really into rhythm games. Is like rhythm games is really a. It's not really a PvP game, right? It's just you versus the machine, or you versus the. It's kind of you versus yourself, really. At the end of the day, I always got this vibe from speedrunners. I got this vibe from like people who play racing games as well, where you're just like it's just you and you just kind of go into the flow state, and you just like you're just trying to. I don't know. I always really liked that, but yeah, I don't know. It's funny. It is actually funny, like how much carryover there is between or crossover there is between Mario 64 and Melee. There's like so many people that are interested in both and know things about both. But maybe I'll have to start playing it myself.
I think it's worth it, honestly. I don't know. I'm shocked that like I know some people did before, like I think Johnny did, and like chilling. I'm sure like a few people were, but like I'm surprised more people didn't at least just pick up like a casual, like, okay, I can like I know the route and I can like do the route. It doesn't even have to be like super good, but like yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised more people haven't done it in Melee, honestly.
Yeah, I imagine some of that is just how much Melee will demand of you, I think, a lot of the time. Or, and some Melee people might have jobs, or they just might optimize their time well, and I think that's probably part of it too. But again, I think exactly what you're saying is right. Like that stuff can make your Melee more fun, because now you're having fun doing this other thing, and then you can bring those vibes over to Melee, and so it's all good. And so again, trailblazing in a cool way, and actually. Speaking of content and everything, Mr. Moist Moky, we talked about this a little bit before the show, so I know you don't have a whole lot to say, or maybe you do and you're holding out. But you have in a way poached our teammate. You are with Zane now. How is it having Moky Zane Moky Fridays be an official Moist event, and how's it like having Zane as a teammate?
It's sick. I mean, I haven't even like seen him since it's been like announced, but it's cool. Like yesterday I got a notification on my phone because I tweeted a combo and he like quote retweeted it. He said, "Yo, my teammate is wicked awesome." And I was like, what the fuck?
What a sweetheart.
Like, all right. You know what? Awesome? This is actually pretty nice. Yeah, I think it was that. I could check right now. It was something like that. I think he said the word wicked in there, but
good
yeah.
as he should.
Appropriate.
Oh, he said wicked cool.
Oh,
Yeah. But no, it's sick. I don't know. I think we both have like talking to him, I think we both have a lot of like ideas for doing content stuff. And I don't know. I love doing stuff with him, and I'm gonna assume that he he likes doing stuff with
I
me
think
as
he
well.
does.
So yeah. So I think it'll be really good, especially with like just if we can super go in on it. Like I don't know. I'm super stoked. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
my only hope is you guys don't play for tweets in your moist content because
yeah.
but poor Zane's Twitter is bit,
Oh, yeah.
I think it's basically a proxy of yours at this point for
Yeah.
your chats.
No, it's all the like most disgusting things I could think of, pretty much. But the one thing I want to do for the next like stake we put on instead of tweets, I want to make it so the loser has to take an IQ test on stream. Because I feel like that would be so funny. Because like there's a chance you just kill it and it's fine, but there's a chance that you just bomb and that's like I feel like that's hilarious. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but
Yeah, that's actually a fire idea. I'm surprised more people haven't done stuff like that.
yeah.
Also, see, you both could do that one after you've both drank, and then see who does better.
Yeah.
There's a punishment for that one too. That one sounds good.
I also just want to say too, I'm so happy I got this W this weekend because I've been with Moist for like a year and a half and I haven't won shit. But so this is the first Melee Moist dub, and if like Zane just came in and just started farming stuff before I got like a single thing, I would have been like, oh man.
So you actually got the first tourney win under the Moist banner, not Zane.
Yeah.
Nice.
He's kind of in your shadow right now when you think about it.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah. I do like thinking about it. Yeah.
Are y'all no, I'm not even gonna say it. It's such a stupid question. Because the answer is no, but I'll just ask it anyway. Are y'all think about it doing any doubles?
Oh.
So we talk about it. We've been talking about it for like a year how we want to start teaming with each other, but then the time comes around and it's like, do I want to spend my whole Friday at this tournament playing doubles?
Yeah.
Probably not. So I think it'll happen at least once, and then once it happens, maybe it gets the ball rolling. Like he is like the one guy who I would like just do it with. If he ever is down, I will say fuck it, and I'm like I'll do it. I'm down. If not, like I've been enjoying not entering doubles because I get to just like chill and play, especially now that I'm making it further, so I don't have time to like hang out with people. So having the Friday off, I get to like actually like do stuff with people, and it's fun.
Yeah, that's fair. And yeah, I mean, maybe my impression is that even like my impression is that like you would be, because you used to do teams quite a bit, right?
Yeah.
My impression is that you would kind of be down because I feel like you play doubles a good bit, but I feel like Zane has never really been that much of a doubles guy. So I feel like it's kind of like, to me, it's like maybe the ball's more in his court. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
At the same time.
Yeah, I used to love doubles, and I think after COVID, it kind of waned a lot because I just didn't play it for a couple years, and now I play it. I'm like, I don't know. A lot of the stuff I get hit by is so like it's just so annoying, and like I feel like a lot of the stuff that's good is frustrating in doubles. Like it's like holding shield a lot and like full hopping around the platforms, and like I think it's just a frustrating format to play. That said, if Zane was down to do it, Zane. I'm the ball is in his court. If he ever says he wants to do it, I'm there. So
that's fair.
Oh,
that's fair.
Yeah, that's super fair. I mean, we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Gonna be exciting to definitely watch both of you at tournaments and stuff in the future. I know it's kind of been like, I don't know that there's been like a true like super major since Genesis. I guess the next one I feel like a lot of people are going to be at, I guess, might be like Battle of BC.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a fun one. But I don't know. I feel like it's always interesting in the spring because there's this kind of gap where like there aren't that many super majors, but it's like it's at the same time it's kind of perfect for getting people's appetites for Melee going again. So I think summer's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I've been feeling it all year because last year I felt like I didn't care to compete like a lot. Like I wanted to do a lot of other stuff. And this year, the whole year, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. Like I don't know what changed, but I'm like, I think it's just the new year. It's like last year I did start off kind of bad, and I felt like I didn't have much motivation. And this year I'm starting off. I'm like, okay, I'm starting off new foot, new year, and I want to like really, really try. But there hasn't been many tournaments, so I'm just like here. I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go, but I don't know where to go. Like I don't know what to go to. So yeah.
No, it makes sense. Well, I'll be seeing you, I guess, at Battle of BC, I assume.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, before we get into our call, I guess we should just remind the people out there that, hey, if you want to talk to us live on air, which is hella easy, all you got to do is type in ! I'll just do it in my own chat, and boom, you can just hop in the Discord. That is that the Nightbot spits out right there, and that's the Golden Gardeners Discord. You hop in the Submit Topics Here channel, and you can talk to us, ask us anything you want, give us your hot takes. We got a couple questions lined up already, but before we get into the callers, we are going to check out real quick our community voice from last week. And I think we had two, kind of, we had one that was more health and fitness oriented, let's say, and then we had one that's more melee related. So here are our responses that you submitted in the YouTube comments from last week's episode. So Ruben Morales chiming in on basically whether it would be cool to have a completely separate from online rankings, just to have something to kind of spur on. I guess the context here is, of course, our guest was All Chat Esports' own Slumlord, aka Grant, who was who's basically one of the people behind, I would say, one of the premier online tournaments, Saltmine. Asking about like, hey, is there a way to maybe we can incentivize people to do more online tournaments again if there was just a separate online rankings to kind of be able to separate it out from offline rankings. Ruben Morales saying it should 100% be a thing. It raises awareness to players and encourages people to watch as well as compete in an online setting, which is extremely accessible to top players who like to stream a lot. That is true. We already have top pot bonuses in some online tournaments. We're literally halfway there, in my opinion. Just needs unified attention and effort put into making it happen, essentially. As long as it's kept separate from IRL, it could only help the scene.
That is true, and at the same time, I can only imagine, what Moky said earlier about how top players really don't want to deal with rankings, how it doesn't help. How you're like, okay, now we're just always playing for them, and I imagine that is a challenge. But for, I think, spectators, and I think for people even wanting to tune into these online tournament runs, it adds more narrative and interest in that way, which I think is an interesting thing.
I could see it being really nice for, like, maybe not top, let's say, I mean, there's a distinction, right? Because I feel like for, like, maybe borderline top 100 players, people like that who want to feel like they get rewarded. I feel like there's, like, kind of this sentiment you see sometimes where someone's like, oh, I did really well at this tournament, but it didn't matter. It didn't end up mattering for anything, and I don't feel like I got rewarded for it. So I feel like for those sorts of people who are trying to, like, make a breakout or kind of performance or whatever, it could be nice for them to get recognized. So I don't know. Yeah, it definitely goes both ways. That's why it's kind of always this kind of nebulous topic. Pizza Boo asking about live events for Smash holding side events. We're talking about, I think the other question that Grant posed was basically about, like, fitness. Like what kind of fitness communities, or how did he word it?
It was something about what would you want a fitness booth or a fitness community in Melee to have, to revolve around, or features you would like for it to have.
Pizza Boost says, if live events for Smash held side events or boosts contributing to the entertainment value of the stream, e.g. Swap Mafia for a 100-meter dash competition or an American Ninja style obstacle course. Dude, that'd actually be kind of dope. We have had that at Summit, but
people got messed up.
Yeah,
people got messed up.
Were you at that one? I forget.
I choked. I fell off the wall. I was thinking, but I remember Cody got hurt and like people just got messed up.
That shit was really funny. I actually did a test run. I was like one of the first, because like when they first blew it up, I went out and I did it. I had a pretty good time on it actually, but it was fun. It was fun. It was kind of cool. Yeah, I think I guess they're just a company that for people. Yeah, you can go on YouTube, search Smash Summit obstacle course. It'll probably come up on YouTube. But yeah, they're like I guess there's a company that just brings a big, giant, inflatable obstacle course. I guess for parties, birthday parties and like company team building, events and stuff. And everyone ran it. Yeah, that would be really cool to have at a Smash tournament. I guess the only constraint is like how much space are you actually going to get? Because most of those booths are not that big, but
Right.
that obstacle course was definitely like huge. Like it took up most of the parking lot. And then the last question coming in from Faisal A. PP, if you want to read this one.
Sure. Faisal first says, for the first part of the question, I like fitness communities that involve a lot of socializing, creating a sense of community through things like group classes or training, and social events would be a great way to build solidarity, which would have people build commitment together, which I think is great because, I think there are people that might play together a little bit, but having that extra element, I think, keeping people accountable in and out of the game would be pretty cool. So I'm here for all that.
Mm-hmm.
And for the other question, they said an online ranking would hinder the online scene to make top players less inclined to enter online tournaments. That's an interesting take. I could see that. They typically see these tournaments as places to experiment / practice for majors or to entertain their streams, so they typically don't go full tryhard. And they also don't want to risk anything on cross-country ping. Stakes like rankings will make people more cautious and want to avoid these risks. Yeah, that is fair. I didn't think about that. I guess jiggling the router also becomes more of a viable strategy for altering your rank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jiggling the router.
It's a classic.
Strong technology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of what you were saying earlier, PP, about kind of the not having not maybe if you're maybe you want to just like chill and not actually care about a tournament having to contribute to ranking somehow. I mean that definitely goes both ways with those online tournaments.
I do think like a good thing that would be good if there was ever an online ranking is to just differentiate, because you know how like weeklies don't count that much for like the normal rankings. Like there are like if there were like some bigger online tournaments and they were just like set out like this is like a bigger one, then I think it would work out well. But if it was like every single like coin box or like salt mine or whatever like was a part of it, then maybe people would be more hesitant. But like I don't know.
Yeah,
yeah,
kind of makes sense. I mean, I feel like like there's like kind of the way Deer does it with Galint Melee Open, how it's kind of this not biannual, quarterly kind of event, and it's like feels like a little bit more serious than like your weekly whatever, salt mine or whatever it is, East Coast Fridays, so coin box. Well, with that, I think we can get into our callers for the day. We've got a bunch of questions that we're dying to get some of our callers in here to talk to them about all sorts of things. And it looks like our first caller is going to be Neptune. Welcome to the program, Neptune. Where are you calling in from?
Hello. I'm calling in from South Florida.
Very nice. What's your question for us today, Neptune?
All right. So for Moky, you were talking about this earlier. This year so far, you have shown substantial improvements and achievements with most recently winning the Come Up, which congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Placing third at Genesis, you beat HBox twice, and you've also been opposite grants from the loser side, which is also very impressive. What were the steps you took to improve to that level, and what are your goals right now to continue that? Are there any specific players on your radar, matchups to practice, etc., etc.?
I think so I think it was actually last year. I think something like clicked in my mind. I remember, so it was because I kept getting upset at every single tournament I went to, and then I'd make like a run, or sometimes I wouldn't in losers, and like I had like a kind of lackluster, I think, start of the year. And then it was at SmashCon specifically. I know I like I lost, and I saw a comment that was not nice, and it was like it said how I was like the best player who's never done anything. And I was like, okay, screw this guy. So I went home and I was like, I felt like I was like kind of unmotivated last year, but when I saw that I was so angry that I just started grinding like really, really hard again. Like it felt like I was like grinding like when I first found Melee, where I was like playing like 3, 4, or 5 hours a day and like studying and whatever. I started doing that stuff again, and I think like that kind of helped me get back up to like doing really, really well. And in terms of like keeping it up, I think I don't know, I feel like I've just been doing a good job of like when tournament season comes around, I have been playing a lot and like studying. I make sure to get my games stream as well, like just super focused, so I can actually get like the most out of them. The one thing I need to do a bit better at, I think, is I need to like force myself to not get rusty, I guess, during like the off times. Because I feel like this year, before every single tournament, I feel kind of rusty, and I have to de-rust before I before I go. because I'm taking like decent breaks of not really playing melee that much for them, and then it's like I have like a week and a half and I like play it a lot, and it's been working out. But I think my goal to actually get to the next level is to, like, even during the off periods where it's like I just went to a tournament, I'm not going for a while, play at least a bit and focus on getting like some kind of improvement down. And like I think just the tiniest bit more. If I can do like an extra like 45 minutes to an hour a day, I think it's going to be really, really, really good for me. And the people on my radar, I really want to beat J-Mook and Zane, because I think they are the two people that are the hardest for me right now. Though I do think I know what I need to do to get better at it and to like beat them. I just in order to do it consistently, I just need to put a lot more effort in, I guess, and like figure that stuff out. So those are the two guys. They're on my hit list, I guess. I want to beat them really bad.
Well, hey, good luck. And it's interesting, you know, I'm kind of curious actually, because you said after SmashCon you were angry and you were motivated and you practiced, and now you've kind of carried that forward and you've continued.
No.
What let you carry that forward? Are you still angry at that person, or did something else happen? What's going on?
I think so that like kicked me into it, and then I think I just started, and then I started to see like little improvements of like, oh, I'm like getting again rewarded by the fact that I'm like putting more effort in again by, you know, placing better and doing better. So I think it's not as much anger now as like I felt when I saw that. It's more like, oh, I'm actually, you know, making these improvements. It's visible. I keep doing better. I'm making like top 8s. I'm starting to make like top 5s or like top 3s. And I'm like, it's more positive motivation, I guess. And I'm like, oh, I'm actually doing well. I just want to keep this up. And like, it looks very, like, I guess I'm just like more optimistic, I guess, as opposed to just like really mad. I'm like, oh, like it's going well, and I think I can make this go better. So that's kind of like it now. It's not as much like to do with that like Reddit or I don't even know where I saw it, but screw that guy, I guess. But
So
but yeah,
you're actually the walking embodiment of the I had someone tell me I fell off. Ooh, I needed that.
yeah, I guess, yeah. If you want to
Alright.
put it like that, yeah, like that's like the Humpty Dumpty, right? He's like, is that the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
yeah.
Yeah, it's also a Drake lyric, but you know, whatever. It's
Okay, I
fine.
guess I should probably know that.
That's true. You are
Whatever.
Toronto,
Yeah.
right? Whatever. It's
Yeah,
fine.
whatever.
I associate it with the Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah.
Someone in my chat asked. Usually we submit questions via the Radio Melee channel, but someone in my chat did ask, "Hey Moky, after moking, how do you transition so quickly into doking? I feel like I always get stuck in ending lag of the moke, and my doke just doesn't come out, and I feel really embarrassed."
It is an embarrassing thing. I don't know. I think it's just like a lot of experience. It's like an experience thing, you know.
Got
Like
it.
I don't know. Yeah.
Got it.
I wish I could
needed
help
to-
more. I think you just need to keep doing it. Yeah, you'll.
You're
figure
not
it
gonna
out,
tell
like,
them they fell off?
subconsciously. No.
No. Well, they
I
may
wouldn't
never.
do that.
They may never have been on, you know. So. It's not really clear. Anyway, yeah, that I don't know. That's a pretty cool answer. It's always cool to get insight into like kind of, you know, competitor mindset and stuff like that. So thank you for the question, Neptune. Any shout outs you want to do?
I guess one shout that I just came up with. Shouts to Zane Moky Fridays. I hope that can come back as like a Moist esports kind of event.
Oh yeah, no, we're planning on doing like I know we're doing it this Friday. We're planning on making it more consistent, because just the end of last year made it hard with like all the tournaments and stuff. So, but yeah, we're planning to like do it, and we want to do like bigger things too, where like we have like a bigger idea going into it. Like I don't want to like spoil too much, but yeah, like we have like a bigger challenge as opposed to like we're just playing sets for like whatever, and I make them tweet like 20 times. It's like we want to like make it better than that. So yeah.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Of course, I'm excited to see that, and I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.
You as well,
You too.
Neptune. Have a good one.
Bye-bye, you too.
Later. So our next caller is going to be, it looks like Chelsea's. Am I saying that correctly? Chelsea's. Welcome to the program. And where are you calling in from?
Oh,
Chelsea's left. Chelsea's.
I think they
Discord
were
might have
trying.
cracked some-
I think they were trying to unmute, maybe. and then they
Oh.
clicked a different button, perhaps.
That's a bummer. Yeah, the buttons are right next to each other. Well, maybe they'll
Wow.
come back in.
Do we just?
I can read their question. I know what their question is.
Oh, okay.
But maybe we've never been in this situation before. What do we do? They're not rejoining.
We've got our. Wait.
There they are.
There they are. Hello.
All right.
Again.
Hello again.
Am I working?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Sorry, man.
No problem.
Thanks for waiting. So can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I was wondering. It's a question about sponsors and working on the same team together. I was wondering if now that Zane's with Moky, or even when Zane was at GG Melee, could you guys like train together? Because ultimately, Moky wants to bring home a Moist win, and you guys want to bring home a GG Melee win. So could you guys train together to up both your powers to try to get that win for at least one of you? Or do you guys try to keep it competitive and you just mostly focus on your individual game? And also even for people like HBox, I know HBox, he doesn't like training too much with top players because maybe they might suss out his tactics and stuff. But maybe with the other Liquid people, do you think he trains with them to try to get the Liquid win? I don't know, stuff like that. Do you keep it try to individualistic when you're getting your own dub, or do you try to get the dub for the team and work together?
That's actually, yeah, it's an interesting question, right? Because like in other esports, like let's say League of Legends, like team-based games, it's like if you're on the same team, you're literally, you win and you lose together because it's a team. But in Melee, it's still a 1v1 game, right? Like Plup and Cody, they have to play. Back when they were on Panda together, they were frequently fighting each other in tournament, right? So yeah, it is an interesting dynamic. I bet it varies a lot from team to team. What do you think, Moky?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like, yeah, it just varies a lot, honestly, because I think Melee, like you said, it's like a weird one. I think like I can speak, I guess, for Moist specifically, me and Zane. Like me and Zane are like, I don't know if it's necessarily because we're on Moist, but we're also just like we're just good friends. Like he's probably like the dude in the community I talk to like the most of like the I guess like the top players and stuff. So like I guess some of it is Moist as well because I want to see Moist do well, but also it's just I don't know. And it's the kind of thing where like once you are on a team with someone, you get like a relationship with them, right? It's like even if it's like a working relationship, you get some kind of like bond and you want them to do well. Like I don't know. I know. Yeah. I don't know.
So
I was gonna say,
can I talk?
Yeah, go ahead.
So are you confirming that you guys might actually have like training sessions together so you up your game and he maybe ups his game against Fox? Or do you
we play a decent bit. Or we haven't been playing a decent bit yet, but yeah, we just kind of like I don't know, Melee, I feel like obviously some top players are different, like you mentioned how HBox doesn't necessarily like play as much with a bunch of top players and stuff, but like everyone's different, but typically top players I feel like just play a bunch with each other. Just like I know J-Mook and Zane had that one session, they played like 16 hours or something because they both just wanted to play that long, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think like it's just like everyone just kind of plays each other typically, I feel like, especially at events, like everyone's just kind of playing with everyone and
Yeah, that's the culture of Melee, I would say, and that wasn't always the case, but it's been that way for well over a decade now. And the team thing really doesn't have too much of an impact on it. I know that at one point I was, when I was talking about joining Golden Guardians, actually, and we have a facility now and everything. There was some talk about how now it would be Nun and I and Zane then, or I guess if Toph wanted to, I'm sure he could, but anyone on the team could go to the facility and probably like practice, and we could get dedicated things for the facility before events, especially if they were on the West Coast, because that's where the facility is. So I think options like that will probably exist for some teams and in some form like that, especially to boot camp right before an event. But I think partly with the accessibility of Slippy and partly with the culture of people just playing each other a lot anyway, I don't think there's too much of that team type of focus, partly due to what Toph said of just it being a 1v1 game and all of that already, not being a team game so much.
Yeah, I mean, I will throw in that like I definitely got a lot closer to Nun and Zane in particular, hanging out at like Smash Summits, let's say. I mean, it'd be the same with PP, but I'm
Right.
talking specifically about like IRL events where we'd hang out, and I feel like there wouldn't necessarily be a reason for, like, before we were all on Golden Guardians, like I was definitely friends with Zane and Nunn, but like, I remember the couple summits after we were both on Golden Guardians. Like, I remember there were one or two summits where like I was playing Nunn like every single day to get him ready for Fox. Like, we were playing a lot at Summit. I was like one of his main practice partners at like one or two of those summits. And then for Zane, we would talk and kind of, I don't know. I remember even one of I think it was Smash Summit 11 and me and Nunn went to find Zane after the tournament to kind of like, we had a little like kind of a huddle because we knew he was kind of like, everyone else was like popping off like, oh my God, Mango. We went to like go find Zane to like see if he needed to like cheer up or something. So like little moments like that, I would definitely say like those you wouldn't really have unless you were on a team with somebody. Like, I feel like, and that's not even necessarily about practice. It's just kind of like, just having that kind of friendship or that working relationship, I feel like kind of caused those sorts of things to happen. So yeah, sometimes it's not even about, I guess this is all to say, yeah, like sometimes it's not even necessarily about practice, but like just kind of like, you want to feel a little bit invested in their victory, right? So you want to cheer for them, and yeah, you end up talking a little bit more about whatever on tournament day. So that can definitely be a thing, even if you're not directly practicing with each other. So yeah, I don't know. I bet it varies a lot from team to team. Like, I bet back when SFAT and PPU were, teammates at CLG, like I bet they were taking this to the extreme.
Yeah.
I bet they were. Yeah. I kind of assumed they were playing with each other like a lot, and obviously also teamed in doubles. So kind of goes in that direction as well. But yeah, it's always going to depend a little bit on the team. But yeah, at least in my experience, like knowing Zane, like I feel like it's. I think there's definitely a little bit of that camaraderie that you're talking about. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you.
Toph, you've probably heard of Blue Lock, the anime, right?
Yes, I have. Yeah. I haven't seen it though.
So there's two types of anime teams. The ones where there's huge camaraderie, and then there's Blue Lock, where everyone's trying to mess with each other.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, I know the premise of that one is they're all trying to get that spot, right? Like they're all trying to like. There's like a specific. Because aren't they all strikers? They're like all the same position.
Yeah. They're all strikers in the forward position, and so they're all competing against each other.
Right. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic there, I guess. But yeah, hopefully we're not too competitive among our own teams here in Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for answering the question. Can I give some quick shoutouts?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yo, shoutouts to the Bay Area. Shoutouts to San Jose.
Hell yeah.
Shoutouts to Berkeley. Shoutouts to Project M. And if there's any great coders out there, please make Slippy for Project M.
Oh man, yeah. I heard they're working on it. I thought that was the thing they started working on during COVID. Hopefully that comes to fruition.
Yeah, I think we can't have enough people working on it, so spread the good word.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Chowsies.
Take care.
Yeah. Take care. Cool to get someone calling in from the Bay Area. All right. Looks like our next caller is going to be Boatercycle, the fusion of two different types of vehicles. Welcome to the program, Boatercycle. Where are you calling in from?
What's up, Toph? I am also calling in from the Bay Area, actually.
Oh, wow. A lot of NorCal today.
Man. Yeah, I'm in San Francisco right now.
Nice.
Yeah. Great to be here.
Glad to have you with us. What's your question for us today?
So excuse me. Sorry, my question is that it's a little bit long-winded, but there's a lot of opportunities right now for players and just events and things going on. But clearly esports and TOs are still struggling to get funding and get competitors and get funding for competitors to go to events. My question is, what do you guys think can be done about this situation, and what's going to make the scene sustainable long term? And then what kind of like foundation and safety net can be made to protect and support players and TOs for the future?
Wow, hard-hitting question. Yeah, it's true. Like, I would say that, I mean, this is a really pertinent question now, right? Because obviously, like, the economy kind of sucks right now, and it like we've felt some of these growing pains in recent years, especially. Yeah, I mean, I think that like there's a certain element of this that's just like uh God, I want to make sure I get the quote right. I feel like it was Slime that was talking about this on Twitter like years ago, and he said something like, it might not have been Slime. He might have been quoting somebody, like, and the quote came from someone else, but he said something along the lines of like, ultimately, isn't esports just about getting Coca-Cola and Colgate to, funnel money into the hands of gamers? Like, isn't that what esports is all about? And like to a certain degree, that's kind of true, right? It's like obviously, it's the more stuff that happens. Like, there was the Papa John's thing with Beyond the Summit and stuff. Like, the more that kind of thing happens, obviously, the more of a the more luxuries we can have to like fly competitors out and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think one of the cool things about Melee is that like we are a little bit older as a community. So even though we're not like necessarily, how do I put this? Like we're not like the new kid, right? We're not the new game that came out where like there's all the corporate interest and stuff like that. But then on the flip side, like a lot of our community, like we're at the age where a lot of community actually has jobs, right? Like we actually have disposable income. And so you kind of see it like, when there's like, back when, again, I hate to keep having to bring up Beyond the Summit right after they like closed down, but it's like, they would do like compendiums and stuff like that, right? And like, they would sell merch, and those were always like pretty damn successful. And that's kind of because I feel like our community like actually can afford usually like to buy hoodies and things like that. So I mean, maybe that's kind of what we need. I feel like we've got a lot of really talented, artists and like merch designers and stuff like that in the community, and maybe we just need to get, more eyes on the works of those people, and hopefully, I don't know. I feel like that's definitely one angle that tournaments are trying to take.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, it's a hard question. I mean, ideally, we would just have a bunch of Ludwigs who are millionaires that really like Melee. But right now we only have one, so hopefully we get a couple more of those. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
thought of.
sorry, go ahead.
You can go. Oh, I was just gonna say I thought about it a decent bit as well, like at least from a player perspective. And I think a big thing that would help, and I know I've said this like to death, but like if we embraced online events more, I think it would help a lot because it's a very very expensive for people to be able to go to tournaments. Like you're spending like hundreds of dollars on flights, like $1,000 on hotels plus whatever, and you're like as a player expected to be going to this and like spending this money. And with sponsors and stuff pulling out specifically, I think if we embraced online stuff in some kind of way a bit more, it would help because you don't have to spend those costs. You're just like at home doing that stuff. And since you're streaming on your like personal stream, it would look good to like sponsors as well because it would like inflate your numbers if you're going well, like going far in tournament. It would make it all look better. And like I think it would be, I don't know, at least for me, I feel like that's like a solution that would help a lot right now, especially with how good Slippy is. But I don't know. I don't know if people are gonna want to like embrace it as much because it seems like it's like I don't know, the shit might have passed a little bit on like that, but I've always that's something I've thought about a lot at least. But,
yeah, that's actually what I was gonna comment on. Is that I think I'm wondering how to get more players engaged, and if we make it more accessible for people to just be engaged with online tournaments, I think that is a good solution as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Especially like I don't know, it just is good. I think all around because then it would be like obviously like LAN events and like that kind of stuff are like the lifeblood of the scene. Everybody wants that to be like the main thing, but like it is expensive to go and to run and whatever. And I think online stuff is not necessarily expensive like at all really to do.
Yeah.
And I think and I think it also is just good because yeah, like you get good viewers. If you do well, your stream grows because you're streaming it on your channel, or a lot of people would, and like you get subs and like you get whatever. And I think it's not like a perfect fix. It's not like it's gonna like make it so like people who aren't full time are gonna be able to go full time necessarily. But I think it would help at least a little bit. It would be like a little band-aid, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Something I want to add that hasn't been touched on yet, and I think it has been a little bit with the comment Toph made about buying merch, is and in the comment he made about Beyond the Summit and the compendiums is that showed that we can tap into the non-tournament going community to raise funds. And I think some of that, from my discussions with TOs a little bit has been, raise venue fees some, which of course, how that works for online would probably be different. But for online, you could still have some, like there's some overlap. Like you could do a compendium of sorts and still have some type of side event or something interesting, and the money could still go to people that run the events and volunteers and stream runners and whoever. And maybe you could, if you go far enough, it can be a pot bonus for the players too, and it can hopefully be kind of a win for everyone. Some of the people that donate would be glad that their money's going to players, and they would also get cool entertainment. And it doesn't have to be everyone, but being able to monetize these things, I think, is good. And it's somewhat shown that it is possible. And so I think that's one area that people can consider more. Now, I'm not really a business-minded person, so I couldn't tell you how to do that, but I that's what all the TOs that I've really talked to have said. That's what we need to consider. Like, yes, for maybe IRL, like raising the venue fee some will help, and if you could support that and idea and support merch, that would be good. And I think that's a step. I don't think it is the step, but that's a step. And I think for online, thinking of those compendium ideas and encouraging really maybe even a culture of supporting these events and being willing to give a little bit more, kind of like how in the past, when you're driving together for a tournament, everyone chips in gas money, right? Like it's just like it's what you do. It'd be weird if it's like, okay, well, I know you're driving, but I'm just along for the ride. I don't want to, right? Like it'd be weird, right? I think in the same sense, if we're like, okay, we're all along for the ride of this tournament, we're just going to chip in just a little bit. If everyone did that, I think we'd be able to do a whole lot of cool stuff. And I know not everyone can, and I'm not saying that. I mean, people have different situations, but it's something to consider, right? And so I think that cultural shift a little bit would be really helpful too.
Yeah, I think that's. Thank you guys for your responses. I think the main takeaway I'm getting from this is that it's just like it's not a one size fits all solution. Like it's going to be a lots of little baby steps of like first aid to try and like stem the bleeding that we're experiencing right now, and then like slowly building up a foundation of just like good techniques, that things we can like build off of in the future. So
yep. And talk to other TOs, get ideas from them. TOs are usually willing to work together if they know something's going on. So I encourage reaching out and seeing what other ideas there might be.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Well, thank you. Any shout outs for us on your way out today?
Shout out to the online tournament series that I'm actually running starting next week. Sponsored by Golden Guardians.
Very nice.
So, Boatercycles Online Bash will be happening next week, starting May 5th. It is a charity tournament for trans rights, and we've already raised $800. So
Wonderful.
hopefully you guys can get registered. It is free to register. There's a qualifier series. And then grand finals is June 30th, so we're hoping to make it a good event and raise some money for a good cause.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's sick.
Hope that goes great, and I hope people listening will check that out or sign up and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys so much. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
And it looks like we have one more lined up here. We've got Sheep Hair. Hello, welcome to the program. Where are you calling in from, and what's your question for us today, Sheep Hair?
Hello. I am calling in from Alberta, and my question is, so Moky recently stopped, and he's talked about this on stream. He's recently stopped listening to music while playing in tournament. So I wanted to know, what are your guys' thoughts and how players are affected by tournament conditions such as crowd noise or not being able to hear game audio? How does that affect play, and how does things that players do to change that, such as like wearing headphones for music or to hear the game audio, how does that change relative to the tournament conditions that they're already in?
Well, that's a really cool question. I didn't know you stopped listening to music in tournament, Moky.
So it was at Collision. I
Wow.
I was playing a set, and randomly my music just paused, and I was like, okay, that distracted me. So I'm like, okay, it would probably like I don't even listen to music because it's like a oh, it helps me like focus on everything. I listen to music because I like listening to music. So I just like I'm like usually listen to music when I do like most things in my life, I feel like. So I'll just do it, but I'm like, okay, like I feel like I'm just one, I will I will just not I don't have the potential for like this song to randomly pause or like anything like that would be distracting. I don't think the crowd bothers me. I feel like typically it helps me if there's like a crowd, and like I don't know. So it was at the last half of Collision, and then at the come up, I'm like, okay, I'm just not gonna do it. I also feel like it looks cooler if I don't have these stupid headphones dangling like everywhere. So I like
You
I
look
don't
cool
know.
regardless, Moky.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, I mean, I think for people used to not listen to music or wear headphones when they played. A little bit of a boomer moment coming out from me, but people used to not do that. And I think there was actually some pushback when people started doing it. Oh, you're soft, you can't handle the crowd, whatever. That was the sentiment some people had back then. But sometimes you're in a situation where the crowd, especially back then, was going to be right in your ear, and they weren't going to be very kind to you. But some people, I think, regardless of how the crowd is perceiving them, positively or negatively, that can just impact them. The crowd's happy that this happened, and maybe it was for my opponent, and they don't like that, or maybe they're happy that I did something, and like, okay, well, I got to keep doing this, right? And so this could be something that really gets into players' heads, and I think having that option, it doesn't hurt anyone, right? Like having that option is an okay thing. We want people to be able to play well, and of course, if the crowd is so loud that you can't hear the game, it also causes problems, right? So you want to make sure you can hear the game, and I don't know if that's ever really been an issue. Of course, you can turn up the volume on the TV, but with the headphones, you make sure you can hear it no matter what. And so, I think having the option is good. Whether it's necessary or not is its own thing. I mean, I find that, music will make me want to play at a certain rhythm that kind of takes me out of the game, because the game will have its own rhythm, what I need in the moment. And so there'll be a feeling in the music that I don't think is appropriate for the moment. And like, you can't really stop. Hey, this is going on. Can we just pause? I need to switch my music. You can't do that. Right. So, I find that it just doesn't really work for me, but for some people it does. And, and if you're someone that always enjoys it like Moky, I mean, that's great. But if you don't have it, that sounds like that's great too. So being able to be fine with whatever, I think is really kind of the goal here. I think it's when you're dependent on everything being perfect and then it's not, and then you freak out. I think that's when, sometimes things just go wrong. Like Moky's music might just pause, and that's when you're in a difficult situation. So just being able to handle whatever, I think is really important as a competitor.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and I think everyone's just different too. Like,
Yeah.
there's the people who like I've never been a headphone guy, and I think I like the crowd as well. I like to hear it at least a little bit, which is why like the headphones I'd wear when listening to stuff were just like these earbuds, because like I just hear the faint sound of the music. I can hear the crowd, and typically I can hear the game volume because they have the speakers or the whatever, and I'm like, I like to hear the whole mixture of everything, because that's just what I think it does the best for me, I guess. I don't know. But there's some people who like really don't like it. Like I feel like Leffen, for example, or like Mucha King, they need their like the noise canceling headphones. Or I guess Leffen doesn't need to as much, but he wears them a lot, I feel like. I guess Mucha King's a good example, because like he would always like make sure he had them on, right? And I'm like, some people are different about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wizzy's like the classic example for me.
Right.
Of like, he's got his setup, and
Yeah,
I think there's something to be said for like, if you can, it depends on the person, but I think like if you're the kind of person that you want to have your like ideal environment, obviously every tournament's going to be a little bit different. The venue's going to be cold or hot or whatever, bright or dark, but at least like kind of if you can use your audio setup or whatever to get yourself into that same headspace, like maybe maybe that can bring you kind of a little bit closer towards your like ideal to like lock in. I think there's kind of different things that different people do. I've never been much of a headphone guy playing Melee. There's a really funny like video of me in tournament. I think it's like Evo, oh god, 2017 or 2018, one of the later Evos. and I had to play Slox in Winners Finals in my pool. And I remember I like went up and I like was like, oh, okay, headphones. And I was like, yeah, I don't really play in headphones that much. I like put them on. They're like the ones that like are attached to the thing, right? Put them on, and you can see in the player cam, like I play my first stock and I get fucking 0 to death. I get like 1. And then I'm like, I have this moment where like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm like, I never played headphones. I like take them off, and I'm like, okay, I'm just not gonna use them. I like, put them down. I look like such a dumbass. So yeah, it's definitely really important to know like what works for you. If you find that video, like I look like a fucking idiot. I'm like laughing like mid game. Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like why am I messing with the fucking? I'm just not used to these things. I gotta put them down. Slox is just bodying me. I'm like, all right, whatever. Anyway,
yeah, I feel like it's important to know what works for you, and also to ensure that you can like have it like present. Like ensure that those conditions are the conditions that like you will always have. Like if you need noise canceling headphones, don't rely on the tournament having them. Like make sure you can bring them yourself. If it's like crucial to you, try to make sure you have them. If you need like music, like bring your music or whatever. And I think like figuring out what works for you and then trying your best to like make sure that those conditions are the conditions you play in is important, you know. But yeah,
right.
Yeah, you want to make sure you're practicing in the same type of way that you're going to be playing in tournament.
Yeah,
very important. That's about all I got, and it sounds like we've covered it pretty well. Thank you for your question, Sheep Hair. Any shout outs for us today?
Oh boy. Yeah. Thanks for the answers. It's very helpful. And shout outs to all the mokers and dokers and people who don't use Twitter.
Nice.
Well said. That's a good group of people. Both of them.
Yeah.
Hey, have a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Thanks.
you, Sheep.
See you
Thank you.
guys.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
And
was that our last caller for the day?
I thought it was, but I've been surprised. There's actually one more. We've got Emmy calling
very nice.
in. Hello, Emmy. Where are you calling in from? What's your question for us today?
Hello, I'm calling in from Portland, Oregon.
Nice.
My question is for Curtis, for Moky.
So,
by not being able to drive, do you think that you're perpetuating a harmful smasher stereotype?
And which stereotype is that? They're the one that can't drive or not able to do things? Like, what is the stereotype?
All of the above.
Like all of the above. I guess I am, but it's not like it's not purposefully. And look, I'm gonna get my license soon. That's,
soon. The classic
soon. Saying that for a while.
Okay, I actually got screwed over because I had my learner's permit and then I just didn't have the means to learn. But I drove like once or twice. I'd killed it.
Oh yeah.
And then during COVID, it expired, right? But since it was COVID, I couldn't like go out and get a new one because it was extended, even though it said expired. So it was like I was in this weird limbo of like, okay, I need to go and like get this again, but it's also expired. So like I can't like buy alcohol sometimes because the person points out and they're like, no, you're using it. Like it was But now it's past that point, so I'm gonna go and get it, and I'm gonna work towards getting it soon, and then I'm gonna show everybody, I guess, who's boss, because I'll be like swerving around. I don't know.
Do you have a dream car you want?
I'm not a car. I mean, but I don't know if you can believe it, but I'm not much of a car guy. I don't really know. I feel like if I had some like stupid car, like if I had some like smart car or something, I don't know, just something really like dumb. Like I have no idea.
A dumb, smart, stupid car. That's what you want,
or like a buggy. I don't know. Just something that's dumb. Because I don't care to have some sick car. I feel like just having like a funny car would be kind of.
You want a content car? Sounds
like a Volkswagen Beetle or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Careful what you ask for, Emmy. He's gonna do it, and then it's gonna be weird, and you're gonna have to swerve back to this.
I don't think I'd ever get behind the wheel if he was driving. Just saying. I don't know if I trust him that much.
You think he's gonna try and hit a sick clip while he's driving?
I think he's gonna try to hit the sickest of clips.
Yeah. And watch me swerve between traffic. Oh man.
Just drifting in the middle of the freeway.
I do not think
you'll get a lot of attention on Twitter, but at what cost, Moky?
At what cost? Yeah.
You guys are
well,
pressed
good
for
thing.
time, so I'll wrap up and
Sure.
gives.
I was gonna say, good thing Portland's on the other side of the country from Toronto.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the roads are so hopefully safe out where you're at.
I'll just give my shout outs real quick. Shout out to
Mhm.
Miles and Josh and the PNW and Jake. Yeah, you guys are all great. Toph and Moky, please come to Smash Camp next time. It will be awesome.
I've been so sad that I haven't been able to make it out so far. I really tried to make it out to the next one, especially because Oregon's just really. Well, there's two Smash Camps at this point, but yeah, I mean Oregon. I'm assuming is the one you're talking about. Oregon's gorgeous, so
Either of them, they're all awesome. Level One's working on both of them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No,
Moki's
I really
waiting-
want to make it to one of them.
You're waiting till you can drive there, right, Moky? You're gonna road trip to that one.
Yeah, of
we'll work
course,
with
yeah.
that one. Maybe me and Moky can coordinate and go to the same one. I don't know.
Beautiful.
Okay, yeah, we could split the drive 50-50.
Yeah, we'll split the drive. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, you'll know if you see our car on the freeway, you'll know who's driving based on how sick it is. If I'm like staying between the lanes and not doing much, it's probably me. All right. Well, thank you, Emmy.
man.
Thank you, thank you for calling in, and have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. See you guys at the next one.
See ya.
Yeah, see ya.
All right. That's funny.
Oh,
Well, good luck on your license.
Mhm.
Pursuits.
Thank you. Yeah.
Loki.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not the only. I need to learn how to like ride a bike too. I never knew because I like used to skateboard as a kid. I was like, I'm just gonna skateboard everywhere. I'm like, now looking back, I'm like, man, I was so dumb. Like,
But you
I'm
were
not.
cool. You were cool.
Yeah, I was, but now I'm like, I riding a bike would be sick. Like,
You
I
can
don't
do-
know.
well,
Why-
you do cool stuff
Yeah.
on a bike. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's wrong with skateboarding everywhere? Isn't that kind of in some ways better because it's more portable? Like with the bike, you got to lock it up and everything, right?
Yeah, it's
Skateboard,
just slower. It's like if you want to go like longer distance, it's like
Mm.
it's hard. And also like I can't like skateboard through like grass or anything. You have to like be on like pavement, right?
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
just like
Right.
it's not like it can be a good mode of transportation, but only in like some spots. Biking you can just go
Mm.
ham. I also need to learn how to swim,
Yeah.
which is embarrassing. I saw
Mm.
Slime though. Me and Slime were in this together because I guess he just never learned either.
Really?
So, yeah, I saw. Yeah, he tweeted about it the other day. I was like, hell yeah! He's like the one other dude. So me
Interesting.
and him. Yeah.
PP, how's your swimming?
I've taken swimming lessons so I can do it. But it's been many years, so I mean I don't know how well it's all stuck now at this point, but I can do it if you ask me.
All right.
So
Wow.
unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go in on this. But what I think is really cool is there are a lot of things that you want to learn, Moky, which is kind of hype,
Yeah.
right? Like I mean, if you ever get a little burnt out or you want other things to do, I mean, you could probably even make it into content somehow. I'm sure,
Yeah.
especially with Moist help, and then me and Zane learn to swim or whatever. Like, I think it'd be pretty funny. And loser, whoever doesn't make it to the other side first, you get to tweet on their account, right? That's one you guys know about. So I don't know how that would all go, but that's kind of cool. And I like there's so many things that you want to learn and so much you want to do, right? Like, kind of just I kind of feel like having that exciting life just only lends itself more to succeeding in Melee and just having a better stream and all that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's exciting. Well, Toph, unless there's anything else you want to really ask Moky, I'm good to give him to the YouTube comments.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get the community voice for all of y'all in the YouTube comments to chime in on, because some of you people are pretty have some pretty interesting things to say. So yeah, Moky, what question would you like to ask basically to all of our Radio Melee listeners out there to answer on the YouTube comment section?
Okay, so I had a question I was gonna ask, and then I was like, okay, that one sucks. So I have another one I came up.
Okay.
The last 5 minutes I came up with one. I feel like it's okay.
Oh, nice.
I saw you. I saw there were times where you were kind of looking off or whatever. You were thinking.
I know. I was just
about it.
I'm like, I don't want to embarrass myself.
I think people will be glad to answer whatever you have to ask, Moky.
Okay, so I want to ask, as like a Melee player, what do you think is the best, I guess, other hobby to have, like secondary hobby? Like a lot of people I know do like rock climbing or like that kind of thing. Like, what do you think would like satisfy a melee player's brain the most to
Man,
also
for me,
do,
it's got to
you know?
be swimming. I love swimming.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's a great question. That's a great
Swimming
question.
and then going for
Yeah.
bike ride to be number 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then driving yourself home
And then
after.
driving
That's
home.
the trio. That's
The
Oh,
trio.
man.
The trio. Yeah. That's all 2/3 of a triathlon. Biking, swimming, but
Yeah.
then I don't think they have driving in there. Yeah, it's no, that's a great question actually. I feel like there's a lot of interesting I got rock climbing, it's good you bring that up. I feel like that is a smasher classic. But yeah, I'm actually really interested in seeing if there's any kind of unique answers we get from the YouTube audience out there.
I'm curious why you asked this, Moky. Are you looking for something, or is there something that you think complements the melee lifestyle really well that you're thinking of?
No, honestly, I don't know. It just kind of popped in my mind.
It's a cool question.
It just kind of out of nowhere. I think because I like I said, it was like a process. I was sitting here trying to figure something out. It was convoluted. I can't tell why.
He was taking the hypotenuse and the PEMDAS to get there. He was working on it.
Yeah, because I think my answer would be Mario, honestly, which is kind of a nerdy answer because it's like you're still just like gaming. But Mario is really good for that. And I know a lot of people think like tennis is kind of similar. A lot of people think like rock climbing and like stuff like that. I'm just curious, like, because I don't know, maybe people pick up stuff that isn't just melee. It'd probably be nice for. I don't know. It'd be nice for me. I'm not just playing melee for like 5 hours a day. I'd love to go outside and do something.
Right. And I think that's why so many things that complement it are physical, right? Because with melee, you are just sitting. And so I think being able to have that movement and maybe having a competitive aspect, if that's something you want, or maybe not, like depending. I think that's all that just really complements melee well, and it helps you feel better, and it helps you socialize, because sometimes if you're a melee player, maybe you only get out of the house on weekends to go to tournaments or longer, if that. So it's a really good thing, and so I think it's great to bring up. Good question. But you know what? We've had a lot of good questions today. We've had a lot of good discussion. And so I would like to, of course, thank everyone for calling in. Thank Toph for holding it down. Wonderful host as always. And thank you, Moky, for joining us. It's always an absolute pleasure to have you.
Good to have
thank
you,
you for
Moky.
having me. Thank you for having me. I feel like I don't know. I feel like we killed it. Like
yes.
Yep.
Hey,
you're gonna kill it.
That was good.
Let's go.
That's right. Just like you're gonna kill it on the road after you get your license.
I mean, I might. Hopefully, I don't like kill someone, because there's a chance. Like,
Right. Maybe we don't
hope
kill that.
Just kill the proverbial hit. It's a very. It's not any particular person.
Yeah.
We don't kill it
that.
or
Fingers
crush
crossed.
it.
Yeah.
Do really well. We have a good time.
That's right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. This is Radio Melee signing out.
Peace.